Oh, I didn't know I was recording. Okay, hi. So, in this episode, I want to talk about kind of my experience with the paranormal. This is going to be just a short episode. And yeah, just kind of an intro to the paranormal, to welcome the paranormal onto the YouTube channel and onto the podcast. So, let's see. And this is going to be just a short video, or episode, whatever, if you're listening on the podcast. So my first experience with a ghost or the paranormal was when I was, I want to say I was like 7. And I was at my grandma's house, and my aunt, she's only just a little bit older than me, so she was a teenager at the time, and she was obsessed with New Kids on the Block, and she had New Kids on the Block posters everywhere, all over her room, literally like there wasn't an empty space of wall in her room because it was covered with New Kids. But I was spending the night there, like I did a lot. It was basically like my second home. But I was sitting on her bed waiting for her to come in. We were going to go to sleep. She was in the bathroom getting ready for bed. And I was just sitting there, and I'm looking around at all the posters on the wall. And next thing I know, I see a figure just walk in front of me. I'm sitting on the bed, and there's a window to my right. And it walks in front of me. And then it just stops in front of the window. And I couldn't make out any actual, like, definition. Like, I couldn't tell you what the person was wearing, what their facial expression looked like or anything. It was just kind of the outline it was basically like a shadow, just an outline of a person. And it was my height, so it was, kid size. And so it walks in front of me, and it just glides, mind you. It's not like walking. And it stops in front of the window, and then I can see that it turns, almost like it was turning to look at me, like, oh, she can see me. And then it just disappeared. And I think I just sat there for a minute like, what the heck just happened? Like, I didn't run out of the room screaming, crying or anything. I just was like, what? And then my aunt walked in at that moment, and I was like, this is what I just saw. And then she said, you know what, I need to tell you something. And she sat me down, and it was at that moment that she told me that this was something that they see a lot at the house, that like weird stuff happens all the time at the house, and they always just kind of kept it from me because they didn't want to freak me out. So that was when I learned that my grandma's house was haunted. And then it's like after that, I don't know if before that I just was like, such a small kid that I just wasn't paying attention when weird things would happen. But after that moment that I saw the ghost, weird things would happen there all the time. My cousins and I would be in my aunt's room playing, and we'd have the door shut, and we'd hear knocks on the bedroom door, and we'd open it. There'd be nobody there. We'd see shadow people walking through the hallway all the time. Nothing really like evil, scary or anything. It just, we were sharing that house with another ghost, like another being. There was a time that my grandpa was at the house by himself, and he heard pots and pans and stuff banging downstairs, and he thought that somebody was down there, and nobody was down there. Also, my aunt's door, she always would keep her bedroom door shut, and she was out of town one time, and my grandpa would open up her bedroom door to let the dog in because she liked to sleep in my aunt's bedroom. And he opened the door, and then he went to his room to lay down, and the door shut. My aunt's bedroom door shut. And then he thought, okay, so he went and he opened it again, the door shut again. So after that, he's like, all right, I guess whatever this is, once the door shut. That was kind of interesting. Another time, my aunt, she heard what sounded like somebody running up the basement stairs and then just stopping at the basement door. Her and her boyfriend at the time both heard that. So we'd hear stuff all the time, knocks on the door. I could do an entire episode just devoted to that house. And my grandfather died, oh my gosh, forever ago now. That's crazy. Almost 20 years ago. My cat is going insane, chasing his own tail right now, by the way. Anyway, and my grandma no longer lives at the home, and I've always wanted to go knock on the door and ask whoever lives there now if anything paranormal happens. I'm going to do it one of these days. Maybe I'll vlog about it, because I'm really interested to hear if that kind of stuff goes on there, because that whole neighborhood, weird stuff happens. My other grandma lives in the neighborhood next to there, and I've had really weird experiences there as well. But anyway, that was my first paranormal experience, and for as long as I can remember, I've never been really like scared of ghosts and everything. It's always just been something that's really intrigued me. And then I've been lucky enough to be part of a couple different ghost hunting crews here in Central Ohio. So I've gone on a lot of different paranormal investigations, some really badass, awesome places. Some places I also was not supposed to be going, some abandoned places, which I'll tell you about that. It has to do with a cop shoving a gun in my face. I went out with my group and we were looking for, it's called the Lima Tuberculosis Hospital, and it's totally abandoned, you know, overgrown with plants and stuff. And we went out there and we were trying to find the place, and we're walking around these fields forever because we couldn't find the actual building. Finally, we find the building. And I remember it was funny. I was the only girl in a group of all these guys, and everybody was scared to enter the building because not of the ghosts, but we were afraid of like, okay, what if there's people in here that like don't want us in here, like living people. So I was the first one into the building, and I thought that was kind of funny. I remember I picked up this big rock. I mean, what am I going to do with a rock? But whatever, having a big rock in my hand felt safer than not having anything. And we're walking through the place, and we could hear some sounds and everything, and it was really creepy. I mean, this place is falling apart. Probably not the safest building to be in. And then we're in the basement, and I mean, it is pitch black. And I'm in the front of the group, and we're walking through this hallway in the basement, and we go around this corner. Next thing I know, a figure jumps out from behind the corner, shining a bright ass light right in my face with a gun. So all I see is just this bright white light and a gun pointed at me, and somebody screaming at us to put our hands up against the wall, do not move. And I'm like, oh my God. And I yelled, and I think I dropped the F-bomb a few times, yelling at the cop, cussing at him, but it just all happened so quick, and before I could even realize, like, oh, this is a police officer, I was like, oh, I'm cussing at you, I'm sorry. So yeah, we had to all put our hands on the wall, and these two cops, you know, frisked us to make sure we didn't have anything on us. Oh, and then we got escorted out of the building. He was not happy with us. We also came to find out that all of the dust and stuff that we were walking around was asbestos. So hopefully I don't die in the future from asbestos. And yeah, we almost got arrested for trespassing, but at the last minute, he decided to just give us a stern warning. He did confiscate our tapes, I believe, because we were video recording what we were doing. I believe he confiscated our tapes. But yeah, so that was an experience. Everybody always asks me, like, what's the scariest thing that's ever happened to you while ghost hunting? Having a freaking cop shine a light and a gun in my face. Scaring the shit out of me. That was the scariest moment ever ghost hunting. And honestly, that's always been, we don't really go to abandoned places anymore. But back in the day when we would go to abandoned places, that was always my biggest fear. It wasn't, oh, what if something crazy paranormal happens? It's, oh, what if we run into like some crazy person holed up in this building, and you know, who knows what could happen to us. So yeah, ghosts aren't the ones we should be afraid of. But anyway, that was my couple of my first paranormal experiences. I freaking love the paranormal, man. I could talk about it all day long. I love hearing other people's ghost stories. Yeah, I love it. And my current house, I've realized my current house, it's not haunted by like one being, I don't think. I feel like it's more of just kind of like a pass through. Like we'll just occasionally have like beings pass through the house. And again, nothing really creepy. That's what I've realized a lot with ghosts and the paranormal and everything, that yeah, there are occasions where it's, you know, something really not good or something that you really don't want to mess with. More often than not, I mean, it's just a person without a body, you know. More often than not, it's like, it's creepy, yeah, but it's not, you know, scary and evil. It's not like all the scary movies make it out to be, although I do love the scary movies. Those are like some of my favorite movies, is like the ghost and haunted scary movies. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the paranormal. So let me know, reach out to me, comment below, or reach out to me on social media. I'd love to hear your personal ghost stories or your thoughts on the paranormal. And I'm excited to start sharing more about this here on the podcast and the YouTube channel. If you are not following the YouTube channel, if you're listening to this on the podcast and you don't know about the YouTube channel, go to the YouTube channel because I'm going to start doing more vlogging of like paranormal locations and stuff. So I'm really excited about all of this, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace and love, everybody. Bye.